Hello and welcome back to the Division High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. Time now for the Dunkin High School Notebook, and joining us as always is Paul Gotham from PickinSplinters.com. Paul, what have we got on the site this week?
Well, we've gone from the Rap Invitational with all those great matchups last weekend to what we should probably call Section 5 Rivalry Weekend. That's a difficult word to say, by the way. But you got Sutherland and Mendon in the rematch. You got East and McQuaid. Wow, that's going to be a great one. East Ridge and West Irondequoit all on Saturday. We'll have all the full coverage. We'll have a bunch of us out there covering those games, everything for people to read. You got standings, you got stats, you got Pickin Splinters, top 10 polls, a lot for people to come around and get all of what they need on Section 5 boys basketball.
Start off one of those rivals we just mentioned, and that would be Pittsford-Mendon. Let's talk a little about boys basketball over there.
And a team that I don't know how they're under the radar, but they're fourth in the state. They're 11-0, in 11 of those games, they've scored 90 or more points 6 times. They have 4 guys averaging double figures. You talk about your whole pick your poison approach there. But Bob Nally's Pittsford-Mendon Vikings have certainly put themselves in that group there with Class A1 and who's going to make it into the regionals as a leader, as a front runner in that group. And you really, the way they're beating teams, they've Webster Thomas earlier in the year, double-digit win over Irondequoit, and then Mendon turns around and beats them by 33. They've got a win they opened their season winning at Athena. They took care of Rush Henrietta at the Rap Invitational in a way that left everybody in the gym thinking, okay, this is now a team that is going to have a great season. And when you look at that team, you've got Jacob Shatters, a sophomore guard who's an impressive young player. You got Mike Harrington, Connor Kraft, they're all scoring double figures. But Dan Cook is a kid who everyone should know his name. 11-0 they are. He has 10 double-doubles. He's averaging a double-double. The only game that he didn't get a double-double was a 33-point win over Webster Thomas, where he didn't play the fourth quarter. He scored 9 points. So let's keep that in mind. And I think when you bring up a kid like Dan Cook, I don't particularly enjoy having Player of the Year conversations, especially in December and January. But we're talking about a kid who's on the undefeated team, 4th in the state, and he's got 10 double-doubles. I think if you're having a Player of the Year conversation, you certainly should include him with everybody else.
Who are some of those everybody else?
Well, and certainly, it'll be a good time to mention some kids, but, Miles Brown and Tah'jae are certainly the front runners. Miles Brown, Northside Christian, Tah'jae Hilton, they're the front runners. But in order to have, I think, what would be a relevant conversation, you add Dan Cook, you add East's Chaz Washington into the mix. Again, another undefeated team at 13-0. You have Ja'Kai Lucas. UPrep is not having a great year by record, but just go watch Ja'Kai Lucas play. He strung together 5 straight 30-point games at one point during the season. If Gates Chili keeps winning, you got to put Keith Slack into the conversation. I think it's irresponsible to not have him in there. And I'm going to make a stretch here, but I don't think it's that much of a stretch. But Jermaine Taggart over at McQuaid, he's averaging over 22 points a game. And you look at a game like when they were playing Niagara Falls, and they're down in the fourth quarter, and he took over that game. That was a Player of the Year type performance, and I think I'm probably missing a couple of other names. Certainly Justice Smith out at Lions belongs in that conversation, but if you're going to have the conversation, it should be more than 2 or 3 guys. It should probably be 6, 7, or 8.
Got one quick second to talk about another local guy who's made his choice.
Isaiah Stewart making that choice to go and follow Mike Hopkins and Isaiah Carter out to University of Washington, Pacific Coast. From the 585 to Pacific Coast, we got Isaiah Stewart from McQuaid joining forces with Bishop Kearney's and Isaiah Carter. I think a lot of us will be losing sleep watching those games in the coming years.
Good reason to lose some sleep.
Yes, there we go.
Great stuff as always. Thanks so much. We'll be back with more of the Division High School Sports Beat right after this.